Next up, I believe is this. I believe this is a import. Yeah, made in China. Precision level. So this is a H2683 Master Machinist level, 12-inch by .0005 inches per 10 inches. It says it's made in China for Grizzly Industries Incorporated. So this would have been something that was bought out of the Grizzly Industries website. And it's very clean. I don't think it's seen a lot of use at all. It's really in great shape. Yeah, pretty good shape. This is a like an insulator. Acts as an insulator. It's got a little cross level in it too. So apparently there's adjustment screws underneath these caps. A quick check online reveals that this import level is still available on the Grizzly Tools website, and it's $99 new. So that's a that's a heck of a lot cheaper than shelling out the money for a Starrett $199. That's for sure. And it actually has pretty good reviews, so it's a decent level. But I'm gonna sell it. Next up, he had a rolling tool cabinet, one of those carts, you know, like they sell, like they're so popular with General Tools or whatever the company is that Harbor Freight sells toolboxes. Those carts are really popular. He had one of those. The cart wasn't for sale. But on top of it, he had all of these mag bases lined up. And initially I was kind of leery on pricing, but then later when we started to make some deals and prices started loosening up, I decided to just make an offer on the whole lot, and he took that. And that was lumped in, and that was part of that whole, you know, $430 or whatever it ended up being in the end. So these are all of the bases exactly the way they were when I picked them off of the thing. So we get another one of these doohickeys, these funky ones here. Again, same brand, same unmarked, just says press to release over here. So this is identical to the one we just looked at, but has a decent federal drop indicator on it. There's like a ghost image on the face on that. Again, it almost appears as if this had some marking directly made on the face of this. That's not on the crystal. That's actually behind that. So it kind of gives it a dirty smudge look behind there, unfortunately. This is a nice little clamp actually right here. I might have to rob that clamp for myself. Got an indicator stuck to the mag base. And Chinese cheap indicator base, but again, decent drop indicator on here. This is actually a tenths indicator of federal. This says Excello Bryant, but I can almost guarantee you that this is actually a federal by the looks of it. That is probably just branded that name. But it's got this unusual backing on it right here. And then it's got this post that looks like somebody made as an adapter so that it could be used in more standard mounting. So that's interesting. While we're at it, let's take a look at what this is. So this is another one of these federal test master indicators, which are not considered to be very good indicators. I think these are the ones I read about online, that they're like which is surprising because this is a tenths indicator, 0.0001, and it's a product of Federal of Providence, Rhode Island, USA. This was calibrated back in '86, believe it or not. I'm going to unload that cheaply. Here's a little federal drop indicator. Small face. Here is a Noga. Another Noga base. I have one identical to this. The only difference is the coloring of the face here is different. So this might be, I don't know, an earlier or later one. Knob seems to work good. It's not all loose. And true to the Noga design, one knob loosens this joint and this joint and the ball. So you really get real freedom of movement. And then once you get close to where you want to be, snug up the one knob, and that tightens this whole thing up. Tightens this joint, and this joint. And then, of course, it's actually kind of facing upside down, but if you have your, it's got a dovetail mount there, you've got a fine adjust right here. So these are great. Another Chinese one with a MHC branded cheapo drop indicator. And another one, China, cheapo mag base with a Shars branded cheapo drop indicator. And all these indicators are fine. Nothing wrong with them. They work perfect. So it looks like we're going to have a sale on cheap indicator bases. Oh, next up, we got some more indicators. Here's another Federal drop indicator with the Miracle movement. This is a thousandths indicator. This also has that unusual back on it. And what he made, this was actually the gentleman I bought this stuff off of. He had a Creality 3D printer, and he made this adapter on his Creality printer for this. Here's an older Federal. This is a half tenths. 0.0005, or not half tenths, sorry, half thousandths indicator. Works perfect. Might be old, but still very serviceable. Ooh, look at this one. This is a Starrett. This is a thousandths indicator. It looks like a pretty early one though. This is a 25F model indicator. Well, that could be turned into a pretty nice indicator with maybe replacement of a crystal. I don't know how much of that dirt or grime or discoloration is on just the crystal and how much of it's actually from the face itself. Works perfect though. You know, DTI dial test indicators like this style here, I prefer the Swiss made ones, but for drop indicators, the Starretts are pretty nice. Speaking of DTIs, this is a Brown & Sharp best test. This is a half thousandths indicator, 0.0005. So this is a nice indicator. It's got some kind of beat up on the face there. I almost didn't get this indicator, didn't even spot it, because this was actually on a indicator mount in a holder, like a Cat 40 holder or something. I forgot what it was. He had a big CNC milling machine there that he had already sold, and there was a tooling cart there, and they were negotiating on the tooling, I guess. And a guy was supposed to make sure that the rigging company could move the thing and everything. So I guess he had taken a deposit, and I was looking at the cart there, and lo and behold, amongst the things that were in there was this little indicator. So I was able to get him to sell me this indicator. And then I later found this one. And actually, I think I found this box empty. And I thought, oh, that's probably the box for that one. And then I found this one, which actually is cleaner looking than that last one, except this one has no crystal on it. The crystal's missing, so it needs a new crystal. But that's a nice one, because that's a half thousandths indicator also with the black face, which I think means that that's a newer one. This was actually calibrated back in 2006. So we'll put that in here for safety's sake. Oop, yeah. A no-name cheapo set of ground parallels. I was glad to get these because the last set of these I had, everybody was excited about these. I could have sold I could have sold 3 sets of those last time, so I'll definitely be able to go to the people who were interested in that last set and offer them this set. This box is really faded from being around, but the parallels look like they're in great shape. I didn't take them all out. Sometimes you got to take everyone out and look at the back side in case the oopsie happened on the back and they were just kind of, you know, hiding it. But I don't think that was the case here. I think these are all very good condition. You know, these aren't tremendously expensive new, but, you know, you can give somebody a deal on a used set. It's not, there's no real wear to these things unless somebody, like I said, damages them by accident. And then we got a couple of what look to be Chinesium cases here. Oh yeah, made in China, Shars branded. So this came out of the Shars catalog. And this is a screw thread micrometer, 0.0001 inch, 0 to 1 inch screw thread micrometer. So that, this is one of those micrometers that in name brand, like even Mitutoyo, is prohibitively expensive for many home shop machinists or weekend warrior types. So this is an alternative, and it's got a series of anvils here. These extra holes does not necessarily mean that this is missing anything. Even my Mitutoyo set, which is complete the way I bought it, has a bunch of extra holes because you can buy other sized anvils. So anyways, that's going to be a nice find for somebody. Somebody's going to get a deal on that. And this one is a U-digit tube micrometer, 0 to 1 inch, 0.0001. This is also, I mean, clearly made in China. The cases look like they came out of the same company, but this one I don't see Shars on it anywhere. And what this is one of these deals. All right. Direct reading. Kind of cool. And this one, look, it's a Fowler. So it's still a cheaply made Chinese deal, but it's a Fowler, which helps a little bit. Notice it says Fowler and QLR, like a joint venture between, I don't know, Fowler and somebody else. This is also interesting because, I don't know if you could see that or not, but the contact points of the anvil and the thimble are both, they're convex. They've got a convex shape to them. They're rounded. Here's just a few random things in the bottom of that box. A Shaviv branded deburring tool, along with a pack of what they call the Shaviv bonus pack. A few different shapes in there and a couple extras, duplicates of deburring. And then this is also, I believe, a Shaviv, different series though. Actually, this has got an M or a W on it, so this might not be, not going to worry about it though. So this is a telescoping one, no storage in the handle. Whereas this is more like the Nogas and the others that has the storage for extra bits in the handle. And this one is not a telescoping one. This just pops out to allow this to lock in and unlock. So when you pull this out like that, it unlocks the bit. That's kind of a neat design. I have to see which one I want to keep, which one I want to get rid of. I've got a couple of these now. And this is the Starrett 272A radius or fillet gauge. This one's actually in really good shape. I'll have to see if I've got the 272A. I think I have the 272A. I have an A or a B. I don't remember if I have both. And then this is a NSK. Label's kind of tough. I don't know, it's out of frame. But right there, this is the old NSK label. And what we've got here is a depth micrometer. And it is in fact an NSK. Seems to turn freely. A little dirty. Ratchet works on it. What I don't get about this is there's no lock on this. So I guess you got to be pretty careful you don't bump this thing when you take it out of the hole or whatever. But it looks like all the rods are there. 2, 4, 5, 6. So this is a, yeah, this is a 0 to 6 micrometer. Oh, look at this. We get an errant gauge block in there. Well, I thought it was a gauge block, but actually it looks like maybe it's a block somebody just ground and made. Yeah, a homemade gauge block. Maybe they were using that to set this, I don't know. But having that just floating around in there banging around, that's not good. Let's get that the hell out of there. The clasps on the box here, this missing the screw for this one to hook to, and then missing this altogether. Which is funny because I just got one of these micrometers, counting micrometers, digit micrometers from somebody. Matter of fact, the buyer just picked it up yesterday, and I noticed that on that box it kind of was suffering from the same problem. That the, you know, the screws were, one of these clasps was loose, getting ready to fall out, and when you go to tighten it, you know, the holes strip out too easily on these old wooden boxes. Alright, here's the last box, and then we got 3 medium-sized items after this, and that'll be a wrap for this series. So let's take a quick moment. Let me put this off to the side and put the stuff up here. Alright, so what do we got? Indicator with 1 point. A 651 MB1. Yeah, I remember this indicator. Don't worry, it's in here somewhere. But anyways, I bought the indicator. There were 2 of them. And one of them was a metric, and the other one, I believe, wasn't. And there was a guy there buying the surface grinder, and he, right in front of my eyes, bought the metric indicator. And the funny thing is, yeah, so here it is. So this is the first indicator I bought. Before I bought that whole lot of mag bases with all the indicators on it, the only one that I singled out and bought separately because I wanted to get it before the other guy did, and turns out he didn't want it, was this one. So this is a, man, it's got some sharp freaking chips on it. So this is an Amflow mag base out of Amflow products of Anaheim, California. I've never even heard of this. So interesting little mag base, but mainly I wanted this indicator. So this is a thousandths indicator. This is a number 645 thousandths indicator. It's a back button style indicator, which is what I liked about it. So after I bought this indicator, the guy who had put a deposit on the grinder, surface grinder, he was actually literally going out the door and walking away, and I found this box, and when I realized that it was for the metric one, I tried to get his attention and was yelling to him, and he just figured, I don't know why you wouldn't wonder why somebody's trying to get your attention and call you back in. But he literally was walking out with his buddies, and he kind of like turned around and then just kind of like blew me off, walked away. That's all I needed to hear. Next thing you know, I said, hey, you know what? So I got the box. So I have a nice box for this. It's just got the wrong label on it. And look what's in here. I mean, a couple of little accessories, an extension rod, but here, this is a really nice, this is a nice little attachment right here. Okay, so this will clamp onto your, it'll clamp onto your drop indicator, well, like so. All right, so you can clamp this onto a drop indicator like this. All right, and then this now will contact that. And now all of a sudden your drop indicator can indicate at a right angle. So, you know, hey, maybe you're truing up something in your chuck, and you want to see how true it's running, how true the face is running. Just as an example, that's a great little find that was in there. So, you know what? Hey, yeah, sure. Blow off the crazy old guy yelling at you. See what that gets you. know what it got me? Got me a free box. Just the foam inserts to protect that thing were worth it, you know. And he didn't even take the mag base with him, which was the mag base with the indicator that he bought. He didn't even take with him, which was a riot. He went over and he put it on the surface grinder's table. You know, the mag base on the table and left it there. Like he was going to take that with him when he comes back for the surface grinder, which I thought was hilarious because it's like, why not just pay the few bucks you paid for the damn indicator? I think it was like $20 for the base and the indicator, and you know, take it with you. But no, he left it there. So here's another Federal indicator. Now this one I found over in an area where one of the last items I'm going to show you guys was that I ended up actually getting for free, and I didn't know what it was when I was first looking at it. I had to do some research to figure out what it was, but I think this might be the indicator that was originally on that. I'm not positive, but it's got another one of these weird mounts on it, and then it's got the homemade adapter on it. So all right, so maybe this isn't the one from there, but you see how it's underneath the bezel here. Somebody marked it with a label maker, 683D. I don't know why the hell they did that. Maybe that's how they marked them in the tool crib, but why the hell wouldn't you just put that? Well, maybe they didn't want to engrave them. Okay, that makes sense. They didn't want to engrave these, but they wanted to mark them in a way so that they didn't have to worry about the label falling off. That's my new theory, and I'm sticking to it. So anyways, this is a C70 with the Miracle movement. And then this cream puff right here, this is another Federal Testmaster. So it's another one of the, you know, the, not such a great indicator, but it actually, it's missing the crystal, and it actually works perfectly. And even the lever changing direction works perfectly. This is actually working just fine. It's a vertical. So if somebody wants to bother sending it out and having a new crystal put on it, they've got themselves something there. So it's going to be another cheap indicator for somebody. All right, these might be the last two indicators. Another Federal, marked again with the label maker in a similar way. Similar, it's another C70. Again with the funky back. And then this one, okay, which is cool because it's a tense indicator. It's sticking though, so it might need a little bit of love. Okay, and it's got some corrosion on the outer bezel here. But what's cool about this one is it's the larger face. So this is like your standard 1.5" face you see all the time, and this is a larger, like a 2-inch. So that's kind of neat. But again, that same base again. Starrett S579H set of 6 telescopic hole gauge set. These are the ones that are self-centering, both sides move. It's a complete set. They're in good condition. The only thing wrong with this is the snap. At some point when somebody went to open this, the snap ripped out. Otherwise, nice little set there. And in here we've got Starrett. Yeah, okay, this is a nice find here. This is a Starrett rolling numerical digital depth micrometer. So this is a really nice sucker here. All right, do you see what the problem is with it? That's right, this is a metric. It's in millimeters. If this was not metric, I would probably keep this for myself and sell my regular one. Although, actually, my regular one is a big Brown and Sharp set, now that I think of it, so I probably wouldn't have. But this is going to be not as quick to sell as if it was not metric. However, I wouldn't be surprised if I can actually get a little bit more money for it in the end, because it is metric. I've had that happen several times on Starrett items, where the metric actually brought a little bit more money. Mitutoyo calipers, the regular 6-inch Mitutoyo calipers, they're a dime a dozen. You know, you find so many of them, so the used price on those tends to not be as high as if you have a 150 millimeter Mitutoyo metric caliper. I'm talking about regular dial calipers.